Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to my channel. If you're new, please don't forget to subscribe. This is Uncle Lenny. As usual, I'm out again. Today, it's another day that Uncle Lenny has to be out. And today, guys, I'm gonna do something different. And today, I'm following up a lecturing at the University of Pittsburgh. So the topic for this evening is pre-colonial Africa traditions and exploration of African indigenous knowledge. In short, I'm gonna take it up very slowly, just in case, before our colonizers get to Africa, there were kings and kingdoms. There were rules that were governing those kingdoms. And today we are being governed by the modern society. So we want to make sure that there's some research that is being done to dig deeper about how our kings and rulers were being governed. Today that's a topic, guys. So stay tuned because I'm gonna take you behind the scene and show you exactly what is going on and what are the professors are saying about our indigenous doing the research about how our people were living before pre-colonial. That's the reason why if we're going to talk about colonialism, we have to go to the roots, to the bottom to it before we're going to talk about today. So today, guys, this is the... So hi guys, I'm still over here talking to the student over here at Pitts. So shortly, guys, I just wanted to let my friends introduce themselves. What's your name?
Bianca.
Bianca.
Yes.
And tell me what you're studying over here.
I'm a double major in Africana Studies and Film Production.
Okay, next.
Hello, my name is Hawa. I'm with CMU and I'm a staff.
All right.
Yeah. But it's lovely to be here. Amazing session.
Hi, my brother.
Hi, I'm Ibrahim, and I'm a former student studying public policy. And I had the opportunity to come here and see the lecture.
All right. So guys, listen, the whole idea here is making sure that whatever the students are learning over here at Pitts should not remain just in these four corners.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that the community knows what is going on.
Yep.
So take the question first. What drew you to explore African indigenous knowledge?
I would say that I am interested in African indigenous knowledge because a lot of its foundations are relevant in today's culture and today's society and how we live our everyday life. So yeah, it's just evolutionary, I guess. So I'm just interested in that.
All right. Mama.
Hello.
So tell me a little bit more about the four countries you're coming from.
The four countries I'm coming from?
Yes.
Oh, this is going to be a beautiful story.
It's okay, it's okay.
Okay, so let me get started, right?
You have to talk louder.
Yes.
This is the first country right there. So I would say it's Nigeria because both my mom and my dad have their parents are from Nigeria, right? But then my grandmother, she's Senegalese and Malian, but we were born in Ghana, so I can just say I have it in my blood, but I was born in Ghana.
Oh my goodness.
That's the four countries. So Senegalese, I mean, you can try to place me anywhere in Africa. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be so many of them, over 30, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm born in Ghana, so Ghana's in my heart, but I embrace all the other countries, including Haiti.
So who's gonna take I like this. I like this one. I like this conversation, guys. I'm enjoying it. So, okay, who's gonna take this question? How do you think AIK contributes to global knowledge system?
Wow, okay. Yeah, guys don't like the easy
What's the question again?
How does African indigenous knowledge apply to global
Yeah, I have a
knowledge
few
systems?
ideas.
Okay.
Oh,
Just a handful. We can go across the room and maybe answer that. But one of the ways that I can think of is with the Sustainable Development Goal, especially with things surrounding climate change and how indigenous communities are using safer ways to produce energy, like like to heat themselves and all of that. So when I think I was interning at the UN Development Program, and we were compiling a bunch of stories from indigenous groups on how they utilize ecological, historical knowledge over time.
It's a very interesting session.
And I was able to do that. I hope you can hear me.
So knowledgeable. I've decided to follow you guys in class because whatever you learn over here, some of them they remain on the brain. You don't take it out to the community. So I've decided to follow. When it comes to Africa, that's what is on the center of my channel. Okay. So with anything else about Africa, I need to make sure people know, because we need to change the narrative. It will take the very you and I to talk about the African continent. In the past, people who come from Europe and talk about Africa, they're going to report whatever they want to report. But why don't you and I tell about these people, about where we are coming from? So that's the reason why I'm over here following up everything that talks about Africa, so that it shouldn't just end in a class, but even the society, even our communities supposed to know. Because look, the generation, it's very easy to miss about indigenous knowledge, which you guys were learning. So in case you never get a chance to meet them, Uncle Lenny, when they go to Uncle Lenny, they'll stop by and listen, they'll pick up something else. That is the reason why. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
So it's going to be posting. I want you guys to introduce yourself to my viewers. Guys, I'm standing next to one of these intellectuals here at the campus. So you know, the whole idea is to make sure that the knowledge that these guys they are learning, it shouldn't just end over here in the class here at Pittsburgh University, but we have to make sure that the communities or the societies that we live in have to tap into the ideas. So that's the reason why we are here. Sir, please, I want you to introduce yourself to my viewers.
My name is Praise God. I am a fourth year PhD student at the Department of Linguistics, and I serve as the General Secretary for the African Graduate Student Union at Pitt. Myself and God's Power founded the union, and ever since we have tried to bring not just African students at Pitt, but also black students in diaspora to come engage with African knowledge, African scholars and other Africans, and on issues that concern us. So we host parties, organize lectures, have seminars, travels, grants, and so on.
Yeah, well, Praise God has said it all. My name is God's Power, and I'm a fourth-year PhD student in the Department of Geology and Environmental Science. So I serve as the president of the African Graduate Student Union at Pitt. And as Praise God has said, like we founded the organization with a mind to give opportunity to like different subset of scholars to talk about Africa and also to have fun as African on Pitt campus. So thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to meet you guys.
Such a pleasure to meet you.
So guys, you're welcome to my channel. I'm Uncle Lenny from Zambia, of course. Mr. Praise, you didn't tell my people where you come from.
I'm Nigerian. I'm
from Nigeria.
We are
both from Nigeria.
Yes, we're both Nigerian.
So guys, you can see how passionate I am to making sure that we follow all our diasporas, regardless where they're coming from. The whole idea is to make sure that we give as much information about where we are coming from. Sir, today we're going to talk about the lecturing which was in this class. Tell me, what was your take?
I was very excited about the entire lecture, but I was even more excited about the language group and the migration, the migratory histories among Africans. So, for example, how people from the western region migrated to the south and then to the east, and how, for example, the question that talked about the Afro-Asiatic languages and how we actually got the term Asia in our language group. So that brings me to the next point, the fact that Africa was not what do you call it now? Like an isolated group of people. We also had interactions with the Arabians, with Portuguese, a couple of Europeans as well. And so, of course, we've had like interactions with them even prior to colonization. So the idea that we did not have any history or didn't have any story or any contacts with anyone outside the European colonialists is false.
Thank you so much. So, sir, why Africa? What is it that brought you to explore more about Africa? Why not Asia?
Well, first of all, that's where all humans are from. First of all, and then Africa is like the richest continent, like given like the potential, mineral potential, and then also like the intelligence in Africa. There's so much intelligence in Africa that is being hidden by like Western news and other things. So it's very, very important that we create this kind of environment where people from different tribes, different races kind of understand like the potential African holes, and like not just a tribe where people can come and take from it, but a tribe where people can understand its cultures and like all the richness it holds. Yeah.
So guys, as leaders, how do you promote the AAK out booklets on others? What are your plans on how you can disseminate the information outside?
Thank you for that question. Do you want to go first?
I think okay. I think one that strikes closer to me is like in our African event. First of all, we try to like save indigenous African roles. Secondly, like in some of our events, we try to like make the dress code be African.
Okay.
So like dress in your culture and come, and then we actually do like ceremony. I mean a competition celebrating diversity. Like we don't actually give prizes to the best dress, but we give prizes to like maybe the top 10 or the top 5 best dress, because we are trying to show the diversity of the beauties we have like in the country.
When is this program?
Yeah, in the spring semester. It's African Gala, so it's our biggest event.
So guys, you can tell how the ideas are coming in to making sure that Africa is not just a dark continent, but we want to put light on the African continent. Remember that Africa is so rich. Africa has got everything else, and yet it's still perceived as one of the poorest continents on the face of the earth. But we have so many people that are in diaspora. That's the reason why Uncle Lenny today, we are not shying away to making sure that the ideas that these people that are in a higher learning institution are able to reach out to the people out there. That is the reason. So we are still talking about this. So in case for those people that are planning, or especially the people that were born over here, do you have any message for those people that were born over here to visit about the continent?
Well, this group welcomes everyone, regardless of where you're from, regardless of your interests. But we do have people from, different parts of Africa, different Africans who come here as international students or higher skilled workers. But we also have people who are born here to African parents who are also interested in engaging with African cultural practices, as well as other black people in diaspora, including many African Americans. So my message to people who were born here would be to embrace your African heritage. Embrace your African heritage.
On time, early.
Yes, early, as early as possible.
And not living late.
And be enthusiastic about it.
Yeah. I mean, I know a couple of people that like later on in life they'll be like, oh, how I wish I'd visited home. How I wish like my mom and daddy taught me the culture, the language, and other things. And have like one or two people that have come to our event so that we want to come more so that we learn about the culture and get connected to the community. So definitely like the message for them to connect very early.
I'm so sorry, I know I just pushed you a little bit out of what we are learning today, but this is just an opportunity that I have, especially when I found my brothers in one place. So let's talk about this today. Let's talk about the lecturing part of it. What role do you hope to play in shaping AI's future? What role do you hope to play on making sure that we shape the indigenous knowledge that we are acquiring today?
Well, many of us are in the humanities, so many of us are really engaged and interested and enthusiastic about incorporating African cultural practices and our indigenous knowledge in our respective disciplines and research. For example, we heard from someone who talked about his interest in archaeology and trading systems in pre-colonial Nigeria. But he was not particularly interested in the trading systems as reported by Europeans, but how the community actually viewed trading systems, especially how they view trading systems in ways that deviate from what have been reported by European colonialists. So many of us are really engaged in research that and not just interdisciplinary, but also connect with different aspects of our indigenous knowledge.
You see, guys, the beauty of the presentation today, it wasn't just about one specific course. There were so many students that were studying different courses, but they all came in because it's about home. That was the good beauty about today.
Yeah.
So now, in case for those students that are planning to study AIK, what advice do you have for them? Because some of them, maybe they are still skeptical. I know there are some that have already jumped in. What advice do you have for those that are planning to study?
Well, the advice do you mean for Africans,
Yeah, anybody else? Anybody else?
Well, I feel that they should not just take the narrative they just see in the literature and in the media, but rather they should be sort of investigative, right? Sort of like trying to dig deep into the available information just to be sure that what they are getting is right, and maybe ask people in the communities more than just taking off the media. That's just it.
I know, I'm just going to ask one more question. What challenges are you facing on exploring AIK? And how did you overcome it?
This is a very interesting question. I think the first one is, at least from my perspective, I would say accessibility to literature or works that have been done in indigenous African knowledge. At least from a European American or Euro-American context, the biggest journals in the humanities field are usually journals that are circulated around or among Europeans and Americans. And so one has to really, intensify research efforts to look for papers and books that actually talk about indigenous African knowledge. Also, many of these papers and books are they were written in, I don't say predated, but for example, Modimbe's The Invention of Africa, written as far back as 1988, one of the most, theoretically grounded books on African indigenous knowledge. So we need more scholars in that field who would, give us recent views, recent findings on our knowledge. I think that would be the first one. Then the second one will be, we need grants from government agencies, African government agencies, ministries, research works, organizations in Africa interested and invested in African indigenous knowledge. And we also need, of course, scholars who will be willing to mentor people who are interested in this practice in our AIK.
I was listening to the professor when he was talking about in the past they were talking about it was storytelling. That's how the indigenous were able to pass on the history.
Yeah.
But now if you look about the modern part of it, the modern society, they don't live like the way the indigenous used to live. Meaning it's very possible that the new generation may not even get it even if we live in the same house. Because probably I'll be talking to someone else on the phone, you're also talking to someone else on the phone. Meanwhile, we're supposed to sit down and share those ideas. So how can we improve that part, especially to the current situation that we are in? How can we save this information instead of just ending up, because it's possible we can erase this information, and that's a goal for the colonizers to come and erase whatever we used to have. So, but now, thank God for professors that have gone to do the research so that it's able to be passed on to us. What message do you have, especially to the young generation?
Be enthusiastic about research on African indigenous knowledge, or AIK. Be willing to publish or write and do research on works, but also to publish them in journals that are not just centered on African identities or African studies, but journals that are dominant in European, American, Asian, and African contexts. Attend conferences on, that talk about, that proliferate information on AIK, because oral knowledge, like you said, oral tradition can easily be erased. So we need documentation on these things. We need people to write about them, talk about them, publish, act movies. Today we have movies in Nigeria where people talk about pre-colonial African, pre-colonial Nigerian, Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa cultures. So not just writing or presenting in the academia, but even in AI, documenting our languages. Many of our languages have been relegated to the background. So we only speak English and French, and then many of us lack competence in our native languages. We need documentation on them, and we need people to create movies, direct music, shows, fashion events that would publicize our knowledge, our cultures, and our practices.
Mr. Praise, thank you so very much.
Yes,
I know
thank
this
you.
is just the beginning.
Yes.
Guys, look at Mr. Praise. He's far away from home. He did not shy away to say, I am not from Nigeria, but he's proud to be a Nigerian. And on top of that, he is an African. Thank you so much. This is just the beginning.
Yes.
I'll be looking forward for many more to come.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, let me do that. So my name is Ibrahim, and I'm actually a former student from CMU, but I do interact with the Pitt campus because of the Africana Studies. And I'm heavily involved in just economic development and just community building in and around Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. So it was a good way for me to find out about this lecture, because I was just scrolling on Instagram and I found out about the lecture. And it just reminded me of how important telling those stories are and reverberating the knowledge throughout different generations as it goes on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your take about the lecture this evening?
Yeah, I liked it. I had expectation coming into the lecture of sort of seeing the lives of those populations pre-colonial in pre-colonial Africa, like what they did, what is their story. I step into the lecture with a more imaged perspective. I ended up being a bit more theoretical, and the way it's important to integrate it in our learning, in our research. So I like that.
Okay.
I did not expect that. What I had expected was a more imaged view, but ended up taking away some very important theoretical points.
So now I know we're in America over here. We are North America. But what drew you to explore more about Africa?
Yeah.
Why not any other continents?
So two things. First,
Yes.
I was born there.
Okay.
I was born and raised there in Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire.
Okay.
And the other thing is that it feels as you're studying, as you're learning about all the things in the world, it feels like the knowledge source from Africa is either not present or undervalued. So the collective knowledge, the collective storytelling that we have about the world, we have a feeling that Africa is not where it's supposed to be, even though it is the cradle of humanity and the future of humanity, given the birth rate and all of that demographic shift.
All right.
Yeah.
So now tell me a little bit. So this question, it's gonna more about the economic system about Africa. You see, Africa, despite having all the minerals, the sunlight, the land, name it, we have all the natural resources, and yet it's still perceived as one of the poorest continents on the face of the earth. What is it that our leaders can do to change the narrative?
If I had the solution, I would have the Nobel Economics Prize right now. So I don't have the technical and operational answers. What I can tell you is that having the resources does not, and maybe shouldn't mean that you will develop. There's other things that need to be prerequisite for development and for self-sustaining populations. So you need to be able to utilize what you have, the cards that geography or God gave you, to move forward with it. So yes, we are very rich. We are, in terms of material, raw materials, potency, we're very rich. Unfortunately, it's almost like unrealized gain, if you really think about it. Yeah.
So now I know if you look about the demographic about Africa, mostly it's the young generation. And it's the young generation that are crossing the Mediterranean Sea, which is very sad. I know we don't like to talk about it, but it will take you and me to talk about it, to see what changes can be done to avoid that mass migration that is happening on the Mediterranean Sea.
What can be done from whose perspective?
Our government's perspective.
Our government.
Because everything else, whatever we are talking about, it's about our government perspective. They're the one that calls the shots.
Yeah, we need to elect benevolent governments. So that's the first thing we need to do. I don't think a lot of the governments, not just presidents, by the way.
Yes.
Maybe senators or representatives.
Yes,
in the
MPs
chamber.
and something
yeah,
like that.
MPs. So I don't think many of them are benevolent leaders all across Africa. So I think that's the first thing. If the way it's set up, we are inheriting a lot of our behavior in governance from the colonial history. So a lot of people go into public policy thinking they want to enrich themselves or they want to have power rather than serve the people that they're representing. So I think that's really what needs to happen. People need to do a better job at knowing who is a benevolent leader or who is not, and I think that's really where it's going to start.
I'm really touched of what you said, because our intention when we're going for politics, that matters most.
Yes.
It's either we are going in just for money or we are going in to save. So my brother, talk about this lecturing today. Now with the knowledge that you acquired, what do you intend to do with it?
Ooh. Okay, I think one big thing that I will do is first not assume that history or tradition is static. It evolves. I think that's one of the biggest takeaway that I took from this, because as we are telling African stories, whether through culture or just exchanging knowledge, we sometimes want to preserve it from not being corrupted or something, but we need to let it interact with the world. We need to feed it into the collective knowledge of the world and let it participate in its evolution rather than wanting to preserve. So I had a question earlier about oral tradition and being worried about if we start telling those stories, are the stories going to be told accurately? Are the stories going to be changed? Are they going to lose their original fabric? But I think from that lecture, I learned that history and tradition is not static. And
So my brother, thank you so very much. I'm gonna give you the last question.
Okay.
If you had to change anything about Africa, what is it that would change?
One thing about Africa, wow. So first thing first, the same way Africa is not a country.
Yes.
I can't change something. That thing that I may want to change may well be the thing that is allowing a country to prosper. So I will have to take that on a case-by-case basis. My first thing is the populations in Africa need to be I'm going to say in French because
that's okay.
English is
that's fine.
a little bit. Ils doivent oser. They need to try. They need to do things. They need to not have things have been this way for a long time. We don't need to change this. How African politics, even the idea of African time.
Okay.
This is how things have been. No. You have agency in your current story as well. So they need to try things, and that's us included, us in the diaspora as well. We need to. In French, it sounds better. I'll come up.
Go ahead. I want you to speak in French. I have French followers. That's gonna.
Yes, c'est important pour les différentes populations en Afrique d'oser. Ils doivent oser. Ils doivent se sentir légitimes dans leurs actions pour pouvoir améliorer leurs conditions. C'est important. C'est la condition sine qua non pour quelqu'un de se sentir maître de son destin. Donc les.
Smile.
Yeah.
Take care, my brother. All right.